Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Chapter 11 Quidditch. As they entered November, the weather turned very cold. The mountain around the school became icy gray and the lakes like chilled steel. Every morning the ground was covered in frost. Hagrid could be seen from the upstairs window, deforesting broomsticks on the Quidditch field, bundled up, a long moleskin overcoat, rabbit fur gloves, and enormous beaverskin boots. The Quidditch seasons had begun. On Saturday, Harry would be playing in his first match after weeks of training. If Gryffindor won, they would move up into second place in the house championship. Hardly anyone had seen Harry play because Wood had decided that, as their secret weapon, Harry should be kept well secret. But the news that he was playing Sika and leaked out somehow, and Harry didn't know which was worse. People telling him he'd be brilliant, or people telling him they'd be running around underneath him holding a mattress. It was really lucky that Harry now had Hermione as a friend. He didn't know how he'd have gotten through all his homework without her. What with all the lost minutes Quidditch practice Wood was making them too. She had also lent him Quidditch Through the Ages, which turned out to be a very interesting read. Harry learned that there were 700 ways of committing a Quidditch foul, and that all of them had happened during a World Cup match in 1473, that seekers were usually the smallest and fastest player, and the most serious Quidditch assistants seemed to happen to them. Then, although people rarely die playing Quidditch, referees had been known to vanish and turn up months later in the Sahara Desert. Hermione had become a bit more relaxed about breaking rules since Harry and Ron had saved her from the mountain troll, and she was much nicer for it. The day before Harry's first Quidditch match, the three of them were out in the freezing courtyard during break, and she had conjured them a bright blue fire that could carry around in a jam jar. They were standing with their backs to it, getting warm, when Snape crossed the yard. Harry noticed at once that Snape was limping. Harry, Ron, and Hermione moved closer together to block the fire from view. They were sure he wouldn't allow it. Unfortunately, something about the guilty face caught Snape's eyes, looking for a reason to tell them off anyway. "What did you got here, Potter?" It was Quidditch Through the Ages. Harry showed him. "Library books are not allowed to take in outside of school," said Snape. "Give it to me. 5 points from Gryffindor." "You just made the rule up," Harry muttered angrily as Snape limped away. "Wonder what's wrong with his leg." "Don't know. But I hope it's really hurting him," said Ron bitterly. The Gryffindor common room was very noisy that evening. Harry, Ron, and Hermione sat together next the window. Hermione was checking Harry and Ron's term homework from them. She would never let them copying. How will you learn? But by asking her to read it through, they got the right answers anyway. Harry felt restless. He wanted Quidditch through the ages back to take his mind off the nervous about tomorrow. Why should he be afraid of Snape? Getting up, he told Ron and Hermione he was going to ask Snape if he could have it. Better you than me, they said together, but Harry had an idea that Snape wouldn't refuse it. There were other teachers listening. He made his way down to the staff room and knocked. There was no answer. He knocked again. Nothing. Perhaps Snape had left the book in there. It was worth a try. He pushed the door ajar and peered inside, and a horrible scene met his eyes. Snape and Filch was inside, alone. Snape was holding his robes above his knees. One of the legs was bloody and mangled. Filch was handing Snape bandages. Blasted thing, Snape was saying. How are you supposed to keep your eyes on all three heads at once? Harry tried to shut the door quickly, but Potter! Snape's face was twisted with fury as he dropped his robes quickly to hide his head back. Harry gulped. I just wonder if I could have my book back. Get out! Out! Harry laughed. Before Snape could take any more points from Gryffindor, he sprinted back upstairs. Did you get it? Ron asked Harry joined them. What's the matter? In a low whisper, Harry told them what he'd seen. You know what this meant? He finished brutally. He tried to get past the three-headed dog at Halloween. That's where he was going when we saw him. He's after whatever it's skirting, and I bet my broomstick he let the troll in to make a diversion. Hermione's eyes were wide. No, he wouldn't, she said. I know he's not very nice, but he wouldn't try to steal something Dumbledore was keeping safe. Honestly, Hermione, you think all teachers are saints or something? Snapped Ron. But I'm with Harry. I wouldn't put anything past Snape. But what's he after? What's the dog guarding? Harry went to bed with his head buzzing with the same question. Neville was snoring loudly, but Harry couldn't sleep. He tried to empty his mind. He needed to sleep. He had to. He had his first Quidditch match in a few hours, but expressions on Snape's face when Harry seen his leg wasn't easy to forget. The next morning dawned very bright and cold. The great hall was full of delicious smell of fried sausage and the cheerful chatter of everyone looking toward a good Quidditch match. You've got to eat some breakfast. I don't want anything, just a bit of toast, waddled Hermione. I'm not hungry. Harry felt terrible. In an hour's time, he'd be walking onto the field. Harry, you need your strength, said Seamus Finnegan. Seekers are always the ones who get clobbered by the other team. Thanks, Seamus, said Harry, watching Seamus file ketchup on his sausage. By 11 o'clock, the whole school seemed to be out in the stand around the Quidditch pitch. Many students had binoculars. The seats might be raised high in the air, but it was still difficult to see what was going on sometimes. Ron and Hermione joined Neville, Seamus, and Dean. The West Ham feigned up in the top row. As a surprise for Harry, they had painted a large banner on one of the seats. Scabies was wind. It said Potter for President, and Dean, who was good at drawing, had done a large Gryffindor lion underneath. Then Hermione had formed a tricky little charm so that the paint flashed different colors. Meanwhile, in the locker room, Harry and the rest of the team were changing into their stylish Quidditch loaves. Slytherin would be playing in green. Wood cleared his throat for silence. "Okay, man," he said. "And woman," said the chaser Angelina Johnson. "And woman," Wood agreed. "This is it." "The big one," said Fred Weasley. "The one we'll be waiting for," said George. "We know Oliver's speech by heart," Fred told Harry. "We were on the team last year." "Shut up, you two," said Wood. "This is the best team Gryffindor had in years. We're going to win, I know it." He glared at them all as if so say or else. "Right, it's time. Good luck, all of you." Harry followed Fred and George out of the locker room and, hoping his knees weren't going to give away, walking onto the field to loud cheers. Madame Hooch was refereeing. She stood in the middle of the field watching for the two teams, her broom in her hand. "Now, I want a nice fair game, all of you," she said, once they were gathered around her. Harry noticed that she seemed to be speaking particularly to Slytherin Captain Marcus Flint, a fifth year. Harry thought Flint looked if he had some troll blood in him. Out of the corner of his eyes, he saw a fluttering banner high above, flashing Potter for President all over the crowd. His heart skipped. He felt braver. "Muncher room, please." Harry clambered onto his Nimbus 2000. Madame Hooch gave a loud blast on her silver whistle. 15 brooms rose up high into the air. They were off, and the Quaffles is taken immediately by Angela Johnson of Gryffindor. "What an excellent chaser that girl is, and rather attractive too. Jordan!" "Sorry, Professor." The Weasley twins' friend Lee Jordan was doing the commentary for the match, closely watched by Professor McGonagall. "And she's really belting along up there. A neat pass to Alicia Spinnet, a good find of Oliver Woods last year, only reversed back to Johnson, and now the Slytherins have taken their Quaffle. Southern Captain Marcus Flint gains the Quaffle, and off he goes, Flint flying like an eagle up there. His going's done now, stopped by an excellent move by Gryffindor keeper Wood, and the Gryffindor takes the Quaffle. The chaser Katie Bell of Gryffindor there. Nice drive around Flint, off up the field, and ouch! That must have hurt. Hit in the back of the head by Bludger. Quaffle taken by Slytherins, and Adrian Patsy speeding off toward the goal posts. But he had been a nice play by Fred and George Weasley. Can't tell which. Nice to play by Gryffindor beaters anyway, and Johnson back in positions of the Quaffle. A clear field ahead, and off her goes. She was really flying dodgers. A speeding Bludger. The goalposts ahead at. "Come on now, Angelina. Keep our bletching lives. Miss, Gryffindor scores!" Gryffindor chill fills the cold air with howls and moans from Slytherin.